Tell us about the year that was, and from the perspective of these companies coming to the stock market, and why they chose to come in a year which was unique.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I think 2020 was a very eventful year for the IPO market as well. And till February, we had, a strong participation from some of the IPOs. And the last one in March was SBI Cards. And then we had this pandemic news. And for 2 months, practically, there was not much of an activity in the IPO market. But subsequent to that, the way the markets and the economy revived, we have seen a spate of IPOs hitting the markets. And overall, we have seen almost 20 companies coming to the market and mobilizing almost close to $4 billion. And because the market sentiment was good, the retail participation across majority of these IPOs has been extremely strong. And also, most of these IPOs, the average gains to the investors were somewhere in the range of about 10 to 12%. So I think because of the way the stock markets are behaving to the economic revival, many companies are taking this as an opportunity to raise money from the retail investors, and that is helping the sentiment.
So Hemang, that brings me nicely to what you're looking at next year. What sectors, I mean, we've got perhaps some consumer tech companies coming like Zomato and Policy Bazaar. Will the appetite be there?
Absolutely. I think we have a very strong pipeline going into 2021. And almost 30 big companies are looking to raise close to about $7 to $8 billion this year. The major ones being the LIC, the Life Insurance Corporation of India, which is the largest insurance company in India. Along with that, we have some jewelry companies, Kalyan Jewelers, Zomato, which is a food delivery chain. And there are many more companies, including the National Stock Exchange of India, which is the largest stock exchange in India. So I think, there is a strong pipeline, and this entire ecosystem is working extremely well, which is involving the retail investors, the brokerage firms, the financiers, and there is a lot of positive momentum around this entire ecosystem because of the way things have gone in the IPO market.
A lot of the momentum when we look at markets at records in India has been from foreign inflows. When does that start to peter out? Are you worried about that?
Yes, this year has been very strong for the FII flows. We have almost about $20 billion coming into the country, which is very strong that we've seen in the last about 3 to 4 years. But given the way the dollar is weakening and the flows into emerging markets have started doing well, and most importantly, the way the economic data points are suggesting that we are on a revival path, I think this year should be very good for the FII flows, and which bodes well for emerging markets, including India.
We've also been looking, globally at this momentum in small caps and in India as well. Do you believe that the rally in small cap and mid-cap stocks, will continue to be sustained into 2021?
Absolutely. I think what we had seen in the last 3 years is that the entire focus of the investors was on the large cap known names. But now that we have abundant liquidity and the markets are doing so well, people have appetite to look out for the mid cap and small cap companies, which tend to do well in an economic revival cycle. So I definitely think that with more direct investors coming into the market, people would find opportunity to invest in the mid-cap and the small-cap companies. By the way, in 2020, the mid-cap and the small-cap companies have done much better than the large-cap ones, almost by about 80 to 100%.
Also, Hemang, when we look at the various subsectors, if you will, industry groups, we've seen, of course, healthcare, pharma companies, and also IT just really outperforming everywhere. But what is likely to happen to those particular sectors in 2021? And are those ones which were perhaps left out of the rally due for a comeback? I mean, that's the obvious question.
I think we will see a broad-based participation from sectors going into 2021 because the earning visibility across the information technology, healthcare, even the commodity companies like metals and some of the banking and financial services. I think the participation would be strong because we are seeing that the revival in the economy and more so from the rural side is looking extremely good. So I think you should by and large see strong participation from majority of the sectors.
Hemang, what about the effect of the rupee, which has been Asia's worst performing currency over the year? Do you see a turnaround there? And I guess just talk us through the impact this is having on overall market sentiment.
I think the Indian rupee has done reasonably well during the pandemic times because earlier, whenever we had any global financial crisis, the rupee used to weaken a lot. This time around, not only rupee has remained resilient, but we have seen strong flows into our markets. So from a rupee perspective, given the fact that the emerging markets are doing so well and the dollar is weakening, we expect rupee to remain quite steady, broadly in the range of about 68 to about 76 range.